My big mission is focus on that 20% that's going to give you the 80% results. When it comes to nutrition, to me, that is protein intake. When it comes to exercise, to me, that's lifting weight, pushing weight, resistance training. When it comes to stress management, sleep is the 80-20, enhancing not just like your sleep duration, but your sleep quality.
As a doctor, what is the healthiest, the best food for people to be eating? I'm just going to say some words. Rate it on a 1 to 10. Creatine.
10. That's an easy one.
Cold plunge.
3.
Really? You're an ICU doctor known for trying to keep people out of the ICU. That must be very bad for business. What is the number one reason that people are admitted into the ICU?
It's a good question, Jessica. There's quite a bit of variation in terms of the typical patient, but one common thread is that often it's related to lifestyle choices. So we see a lot of obese patients. We see a lot of patients that are pre-diabetic or diabetic. We see a lot of patients that have been smoking most of their lives. So one of our deep passions is how do we help people address those lifestyle choices? How do we make them healthier and avoid seeing someone like myself in the intensive care unit? Because frankly, Jessica, when you land in an ICU, it's awful. Like you are separated from your loved one. You are going to be significantly deconditioned. If you survive, you have mental concerns in terms of PTSD, anxiety, depression. You just aren't as functional and as strong as you once were. And yes, a lot of people will get back to their baseline in terms of if they do the work or if they're coming in healthy. But unfortunately, because a lot of our patients aren't coming in healthy, that's not a reality. They come out weaker. They come out dependent on others if they survive. So this is why you and I are talking now. This is why I'm doing all the stuff that we do on social, writing books, doing podcasts, so that we could give people the tools to stay healthy.
Do you see a lot of the same people coming in and out of the ICU? I'm just curious if once someone gets there, they kind of have a wake up call and maybe they make changes in their life.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, unfortunately, we do see a lot of recurrent patients, and I think, to be honest with you, a lot of them they're just so far gone that some of these things that we're talking about doesn't always make a big difference for them. Like if they're already heavily reliant on others. They've broken bones. They've had their osteoporosis. They can't move the right side because of the stroke. They they often are not going to have that option of recovery. And so to me, the message is the earlier we can address this, the better. Because when we address it early, especially if you're young, especially if you have lean muscle on you, your outcomes are going to be way better.
Yeah, I'm curious what that looks like. If you're seeing someone in the ICU and let's say they have type 2 diabetes, as a doctor, there's a protocol that you are taught to follow as far as medications and things, but then also there's the lifestyle changes. So when you're checking them out or when you're talking to them and sending them on their way, are you are you having to kind of give them both, but also letting them know like, hey, we want to get you off this medication at some point?
To be honest with you, they've had so many other problems, so many other areas that we need to prioritize that's quite low on the list. Like for example, you have a brittle diabetic, type 2 diabetic that comes in with a really wicked, we'll say, pneumonia. And now they're intubated, so they're on life support. Like our whole thing is like, can we get you off life support? Like that's the priority. And sometimes that takes 4 days, sometimes it takes 4 weeks, sometimes it takes 4 months. So our priority as intensivists is like, can we get you can we get you to survive first of all and get you strong enough and to be able to leave the ICU. Like that's our number one priority. So fighting the infection, avoiding secondary infections, making sure you don't develop blood clots. All these other areas are a priority. So to be honest with you, I've in my 20-year career, I've rarely had those conversations. And quite often at times people aren't in position to even have these conversations. They still might be confused, they still might be medicated. But if and when they ask about it, I'm definitely fully prepared, especially families that if they're serious about trying to improve their overall well-being through lifestyle modifications, I'll fill their ear. And I remember one patient who was extremely overweight, but asked our team about ketogenic diets and being able to provide them with tools around that. And that was a real rewarding moment to be able to say, hey, here's some of the tools that you could use. And I remember they were keen on starting as early as possible. And to me, that was really exciting.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, yeah. Okay. Because I have a family member who has all kinds of health issues, including type 2 diabetes. And anytime that I get a question about diet or, if they're open to taking a walk or something, I try to, I try to not show my excitement too much. It's like such a great feeling when either the people that you're close to or even you, the people that you're actually helping on a daily basis, if they have that willingness and they're ready for it, and you're like, yes, like they want the help and I can help you and I can show you the way. It's just like,
I love it too. Yeah. And to me, the big thing, I was doing a post today or a recording today about this, is like just model what you want to see. Like us through your family. Like I don't know if you have little ones, but just being that the change that you think is important. So living an active lifestyle, eating well, talking about the importance of sleep. Like if you're doing it, it's hard not to get behind it. It's contagious when you see somebody living a healthy life and and showing the benefits of it. You're gonna want to model it.
so let's say that someone does have either fatty liver or they've been smoking their whole lives or they have diabetes, one of these things, and or something else that you see often in the ICU. They're not ready to just completely change everything in their lifestyle, but what would be the first thing they could change? Would it be focusing on the sleep, walking, diet? What would that be, that first step they can take?
Yeah, so I'll go two things. So in general, I think diet is your most important lever. Like that is that to me is like the 80/20 of health and wellness. So if you, for example, if most of us were to just focus on our protein intake, to me, I think the needle would move. Like I think we way underdose protein. We are too reliant on processed foods, so refined carbohydrates with hardly any nutrients in them. And as a result, we are an obese nation. We're an obese society. And that subtle shift of, hey, there's not that much protein on this pasta dish, but if I double that up, I'm going to be fuller. I'm going to be more likely to put on lean muscles to stay strong. I'm going to have less spikes in my blood sugar. So many things just improve by just making that simple step. And I really think it's a simple step. It might not be affordable to everybody, but it's a simple difference that you can make, is just making sure that plate is loaded up with protein. We're loaded up with vegetables, and you're making sure you're getting enough fiber, as an example. But yeah, that single step to me could be huge. The second component of that just is like, if you are if you got that you are a smoker, you are a heavy drinker, obviously if you cut down or stop, that's going to be massive. So yeah, the other side of things is we see a lot of smoking related illness, so COPD, emphysema, cancer as a result of smoking. So if you were to stop that, which I know is easier said than done, that could be massive for folks. But those were the two I would highlight for sure.
Mm. For those who haven't heard the term before, could you explain what 80/20 means?
Oh, of course. Yeah, sorry. Should have been more clear on that. So 80/20 is we call it the Pareto's principle. So he was an economist in the 19th century, I believe, that noticed that this ratio seemed to abide everywhere. So an example is if you're a business owner, so if you look at Jess's business, from her revenue, 20% of so 80% of your revenue will come from 20% of your clients. So so the whole principle is focus on that 20% of clients so you could really emphasize and amplify your revenue. And these ratios are apply everywhere. So we talk about for your health and your wellness in terms of your happiness, traffic. If you're in where you say Sarasota,
Hmm.
20% of 80% of traffic comes from 20% of areas within Sarasota. So like it's everywhere. So my big mission for folks and what we talk about in the book is focus on that 20% that's going to give you the 80% results. And when it comes to nutrition, to me, that is protein intake. When it comes to exercise, to me, that's lifting weight, pushing weight, resistance training. When it comes to stress management, my opinion, sleep is the 80/20, enhancing not just like your sleep duration, but your sleep quality. And that's the way we approach our education is everyone's a bit different, finding out what your 80/20 is and go all in with that.
Yeah, that was a great explanation. I would love to go more into the protein piece and diet with you because I'm curious, as a doctor, what is the healthiest, the best food for people to be eating? I know you've already emphasized protein. Are there certain proteins that you favor over others? And how much is too much or too little? And then what else should people be eating besides that?
Very good question. So I think in general, I'll say at a high level from an evidence perspective, when you look at the medical literature, the best diets that we see is like the Mediterranean diet. So it's an anti-inflammatory diet. So, you know, fish, vegetables, Mediterranean diet. And so I'll say that at a high level. In terms of protein intake, my personal bias is people are coming from such a bad place that it, like I'm not too picky when people are saying like, oh, I'm going to try and increase my protein intake. Like, what if it's animal, if it's plant based? I don't really care as long as you're getting to your goals. And later on, as we try and enhance things, I think it's more important to think about maybe we could improve the quality of the protein. But in general, I'm a big fan of animal-based protein. I think when you get animal-based protein, you're getting more amino acids, you're getting more bang for your buck in terms of access and digestion of protein and what it's going to do for your lean muscle. So that's chicken. I'm a big chicken thigh person over chicken breast just because of the taste, but chicken thighs or chicken breast will give you more bang for your buck. I'm a big beef eater, so of any sort. You give me a ribeye, you give me a sirloin, I don't care. I'm demolishing that bad boy. So fish, expensive for a lot of people, but definitely a great source of protein and omega 3. So you're getting really good nutrients that way. The cheap, more affordable stuff like eggs. I love eggs, but you need more eggs than you think to get enough protein. They're only about 6 to 7 grams per egg. So if I'm having a meal, I'm usually rocking at least 6 eggs to make sure I'm getting enough protein intake. The plant-based stuff, so the lentils, the tofu, all can contribute to improving your protein intake for sure. In terms of supplements, like we started a supplement company for people to get a reliable source of protein, and so we started Gyata Nutrition, where you get whey isolate, highest quality protein powder that we could find from New Zealand, and that to me is, once again, I always say it's like a supplement. So if you could get to your goals using real food, that to me is a priority. But if you are having trouble, this is where the supplements can come in handy. And in terms of the amount that you need, so anywhere from zero point 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight. So for me, I'm about 205. I aim for anywhere from 140 some to 205 uh, grams of protein in a day. And it is so hard to overdo protein. Like everyone says, like, "Oh, can you do too much?" I want people to even try to do this. You're going to be so full. It's going to be so challenging to try and ingest more than that it's really hard to overdo it. And in terms of consequences, like there's no ties from the medical literature to damaging your kidneys. They the people to overdo it, I think, is really hard, as I mentioned. So to to gain weight with this approach, it's never say it's impossible, but because of how full you'll feel, it really is a challenge to overdo it. In fact, it's hard to just meet the goals because of how full you'll feel. So I think I answered most of those questions, but yeah, it's an important aspect to improve your health for sure.
With the protein, is it true that some of the proteins are more easily accessible as far as assimilating the nutrients in the body versus other ones? I feel like I've heard with plant proteins that your body can't actually access all the nutrients in it like it can with meat.
Yeah, so the literature suggests, as you said, like you're not getting as much bang for your buck from plant based, but you're certainly going to get absorption. Like it. That's why I'm saying I'm pretty agnostic. Like if if you assume animal protein, you're absorbing 95% from what I recall. Plant based would be like you would absorb 80%. Like it's a drop off, but it's not it's not crazy drop off. So I to me, um, in terms of my opinion, whatever way you could throw down, I support it. And then as you get to your health goals, as you're starting to refine things, then we could look at ways of optimizing.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. And then I also wondered with the meat, with the fish, everything, does in your opinion, does the quality matter? Whether it's wild caught or grass fed, things like that?
As I'm getting more seasoned, I do believe there's something to be said about more organic nutrients, more organic meat. I I won't be able to cite any literature or anything, but just seeing how there's less allergies, less reactions, autoimmune disease, in my opinion, when people are eating like more organic, where you could see where the meat was raised, and there was less hormones and antibiotics and all these things. This is just me, my opinion, not based on medical literature. I think it matters. And I know in our household, we're starting to look at less processed, modified meats and vegetables and so forth, because for that reason, I think, like, to me, there's something that's changed over the few years, and one thing that's changed for sure that I've seen is how we treat our food. And we know that when things are when you ingest a lot of processed food, that you're shorten your life expectancy, you're less healthy. So that's that's me guessing, but I feel strongly about it. If that makes if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I can say from my own N of one experiment that my body definitely can tell the difference between, a chicken that ate grains and corn versus worms and bugs or whatever else that they usually eat when they're pasture raised. Or yeah, basically I don't eat corn and grains and soy. So it's like if the animal ate that, I can tell almost immediately after eating that now it's in my body, like my body reacts to it. So it's interesting. I just didn't know if that was a psychological thing for me or if that was something maybe you had seen before in yourself or other people.
I mean, if I've learned anything over the years is that everyone's different. Like a lot of these things that we think we generalize, we got to always remember that's on average. But I've seen so many people have these individual responses that they're not supposed to have. I just I've given up saying like this is not supposed to happen. Like I've seen too many weird and wonderful things.
Speaking of seeing too many weird and wonderful things, what's the best thing and the most surprising thing that you've witnessed or learned from working inside the ICU?
Hmm. Best surprising thing. Well, I'll just say in terms of the best thing, I'm so proud of my team in terms of how they will rally for patients. They'll go above and beyond for patients and their families in trying times. Like I think back at the pandemic when we were all scared, we were all nervous, and there was not a person that hesitated to step up when we were needed, whether it was extra hours, sleeping in hospital, whether it was holding the hand of a family member. Like we really came together. Like it was a special time. Like I get emotional thinking about it because it was really, we felt like we had a purpose that was not just in front of our patient, but it was almost like a societal purpose. People needed us to step up and to be there for our patients and people knowing that we were there and being able to say what we saw, and it it was in many ways healing for people. And I thought seeing the way we responded was truly moving, and I was really proud and happy to be a part of that. In terms of surprising, like what surprises me, like I feel like I always get surprised at how and youth is a superpower, and how muscle is a superpower. Like I remember seeing a guy, make a long story short, but he was elderly but went to the gym every day and had a experienced the cardiac arrest. Like he died for a period of time and got resuscitated. And he's a guy that went to the gym 5 days a week, and he's one of the few people at that age that I've ever seen walk while on a ventilator. So walking while he was on life support. And I mean, this was years ago now. I still haven't seen anybody do anything similar since then. And that's because of his, that's because he had that baseline. He took care of himself. It's really inspiring. Like he's home now. Like when you're 70 plus and you have cardiac arrest, we don't see you go home.
Mm.
And he's home playing with his kids, his grandkids. That to me was so inspiring and so surprising that even despite the age, you can be that resilient. And so this is anytime I don't feel like going to the gym, I'm like, I think of that dude. I'm like, all right, if I end up sick one day, I want to be able to do the same thing. I want to be able to have that resilience and baseline that I could overcome. So that to me is always a bit of a surprise.
That's amazing. Yeah. Some people might hear that and think, oh, he went to the gym 5 days a week and went into cardiac arrest. Like, he was doing too much. But it wasn't the exercise that caused it. It was actually the exercise that saved him.
Yeah, 100%. Like without going into detail, like he is, he had nothing wrong with his heart. It was just, yeah, another reason. But yeah, that to me, as you said, it was really his his going to the gym that saved him.
Mhm. You focus on preventative care. That's clear at this point. You work in a hospital. So what role should hospitals play in shifting from reactive to preventative care models?
I would love for us to take this all more seriously. I would love for us to have, no matter what specialty you have, to have a lens of preventative health. I think it would be groundbreaking. I think it would be so impactful for society right now. And I think they're ready. I think we're all ready. So if you're an obstetrician, you're take care of delivering babies, you start talking with moms that are expecting, like this is how you take care of yourself so that you don't get gestational diabetes. You're an orthopedic surgeon that goes into that has a clinic for people that are showing early osteoarthritis. Hey, here's a program now to get you fitter and lose some weight so that we don't have to do surgery on you right away. You got a general surgeon that sees a lot of patients with gallbladder disease. Here's a program to help you lose some weight. Like I think there's everyone, all of us collectively can do our part, and it could be so if we're serious about having a healthier society. To me, I have no doubt that this is key. Will this happen? I don't know. I'm not one to hold my breath with stuff, and I'm now my style isn't to um wait for things to happen. I'd rather take it in my own hands. We have our own platform. We have our books. We have the tools that we could provide people. If hospitals, administrators, governments, or wanted to jump on the train, we'll get behind it. But yes, it would be incredible, Jess, if that was the path moving forward.
I feel like we're headed there.
You think we're headed there?
I mean, optimistically, I think it's a matter of time. Yeah. Do
Yeah,
you?
I mean, I think society wants us to go there. I hope hospitals and so forth are seeing the light, because to me, it takes some investment, it takes some different areas of focus, but it will ultimately save money. It will ultimately improve lives, and that's what we're here to do.
Mhm. Yeah. I have a few rapid fire for you, and I thought this would be fun. I'm just going to say some words, and then I was thinking maybe that you could just rate it on a 1 to 10, and 10 being like you're all about it, like you stand behind it, you support it. And if that doesn't work, then I mean, you can give some type of explanation if you want. But okay, so the first one, creatine.
10. That's an easy one.
Okay, cold plunge.
3.
Really?
I mean, depends what your goal is. If it's for longevity, I don't know if it does anything. But for mental clarity, for even there's some question on the inflammation side whether it's worth doing or not. But from straight up longevity, live longer perspective, I think it's a 3. But I don't know. Like if it's something that you love doing, if you feel sharper after, your mood is improved,
Mm.
go for it.
I'm not a huge supporter, but I was surprised that you're not, or
Yeah,
that.
no, I mean, I I'll try and back my claims by at least that there's some evidence behind it, but um, and I mean, from a like how my personal experience is that I like the I like the mood, I like the like how awake you feel. I
Mm,
mean, but overall, I don't love doing it. But yeah, to say to people you need to be doing that, like if you're gonna choose something to do between those two, take creatine, man. Holy shit! Like this is like cheap, the most studied supplement that we got. We know it's going to increase your lean muscle. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to help you recover. It's going to add mental clarity. It's going to improve your mood. It offsets. We've recent evidence that it can help offset like sleep deprivation. Like, yo, I mean, we just started about 3 months ago. Added it to our regime. Yeah, everybody and their mother, yo.
Not to go off on a little tangent here, but I have it in my kitchen and I took it for a few days and I felt like I was puffy. And I'm sure that has to do with your muscles holding onto water weight, but I just didn't like how I looked and felt after that. Is that
Yeah, but
normal?
yeah, that usually goes away with time, like that whole
Okay.
like holding the water weight and so forth. But I feel like it depends what your goals are. If your goals are to be stronger, if your goals are to put on lean muscle, if your goals are to improve your mood, it's your huckleberry, and that aspect of feeling a little bit bloated, feeling like you're retaining water, that tends to go away actually in a few days.
Okay. I'll give it another shot. How about fruit sugar?
Fruit sugar,
So the
like
sugar from fruit. Some people are afraid of eating fruit because of the sugar in it.
oh, I mean, I would like I'd get 6, 7. Sorry, my kids are laughing at 6, 7. Um, yeah. So fruit sugar. Like I'm not. I think there's some fruit that are more glycemic that you probably should avoid if you're struggling with your blood sugar, but otherwise, most of us are fine. So I 6.
Sunscreen.
Oof. Feel like I can't touch that one. Uh, that's a tricky one.
I'm
I
with
won't give
you.
it an answer, but I'll say for a lot of people, it's probably an 8. But yeah, I'll just say that a lot of people it's probably an 8.
Okay. I won't dig there. I can
Yeah,
tell
I
it.
mean, like I've come across some stuff that kind of insinuates that there's unintended consequences, but I'm still evaluating things. But if gun to my head, I'd say an 8.
Okay. Bone broth.
If you're into it, like I think it's a 7,
Okay. And the last one is celery juice.
2.
Oh no.
I don't know what's in celery juice that's so good. I
Oh,
don't
I'm
know.
surprised you haven't heard of it. It's just it's basically like a medicine. And have you heard of medical medium? That's where it started. But basically, you drink 16 ounces of celery juice every morning on an empty stomach, and it helps with inflammation and all kinds of everything, basically.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard this. I mean, I'm not sure what's in celery juice that makes it magical, but I'm always keen on learning.
Okay, interesting. I'll have to send you something.
Please.
I have two final questions for you, but before I ask them, where can the listeners go to get your book and to learn more and just find more about Dr. K?
Yeah, thanks for this, Jessica. Like the easiest way is going to drkwadwo.ca, our website. So drkwadwo.ca. You'll see links to our book, our free resources. So, for example, if people can't afford the book, we have a free PDF that they could go to. We also have a nutrition master class there. We have links to our protein company, Gyata Nutrition, if that's of interest. Our socials at Quadcast, so you'll see that on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok is our biggest audience there. And if you're on Amazon, the book's also there. You could just look up Prevention Over Prescription, and of course the podcast as well, Prevention Over Prescription, all the things. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I've probably not. So, but
We'll
yeah,
have it in the
that's
show
where
notes.
you find out our stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll link it just in case. My first question for you is what is your number one health tip? So, whether that is diet and nutrition, mindset, emotional, spiritual, just the number one tip that you would like everyone to know.
I've been harping on protein, so I'm going to skip that one because I feel like y'all know this already. I'm going to give you one that's a little bit maybe out of left field there, but really knowing what your why is, I think is very powerful. If you're not aligned with your why, what your purpose is, it's harder to be motivated to eat well, to go to the gym, to take care of yourself. But your why might be to play with your grandkids. It might be to stay functional as you age. It might be to keep up with your current kids. Like I'm a father of three boys. They like to move, and I want to be able to keep up with them as much as I can because this is how we connect. It's often through activity. So knowing your why and reminding yourself on it on a regular basis, anchoring to it when you're feeling like shit and don't feel like going to the gym, have that front and center, that North Star, and saying, you know what, I'm gonna hit it so that when 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now, when I want to be able to play with and interact with my kids, I can still do that. I can still hike that mountain. I could still throw that football harder than they can. But yeah, this is probably one of the more powerful tools to use to stay healthy.
Love it. My last question for you will be a more personal one. So, you get to choose a number 1 through 100, and that will tell us what the question is.
64
Any purpose behind 64?
is the most random number I could think of.
What's the most courageous thing you've ever done?
The most courageous thing I've ever done was throughout the pandemic, like in Canada here, I was doing national news on a regular basis, and I would vocally oppose us keeping kids out of school. I would advocate for their well-being, and I got a lot of hate for that. We got attacks on our family, and I would do it all over again because I felt that strongly on the need to advocate for our littles, seeing how they were being impacted by the pandemic policies. I know there was a risk of being canceled. I had this amazing conversation with our family, with my wife, saying, this is a risk. Are we willing to take it? And we were very aligned. And that was the fuel I needed to be able to speak up. And I felt, to be honest with you, not enough of us were speaking up at the time, and I was scared as hell. And I still have a little bit of PTSD around those time around posting on social or saying these things because of many of the consequences that came from being vocal. But as I said, Jess, I would do it all over again because it mattered and it was the right thing to do.
Wow, yeah. Very righteous. Incredible. Thank you for everything that you do, Dr. Tag. And honestly, I was just thinking your book, Prevention Over Prescription, would be so great for people to just have in their living rooms or somewhere in the open area in their home so that the right person would come across it, just who's stopping by, and they might see that because you can tell from the title. It's just maybe someone would want to, open it and read a little bit, and it could just, you're changing lives literally like 24 hours a day when you're in the ICU, and then these podcasts that you find time for in between being a father and writing books. It's just incredible. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing for all of the sick and the healthy people in the world.
Thank you so much, Jessica. This has been a lot of fun, and your words mean a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.